One of the things I really liked about No Time to Die is Cary Fukunaga tried as much as he could to conclude certain story arcs for some of the supporting characters. And there wasn't a lot to work with in terms of like Moneypenny or Q, although their appearances in No Time to Die were very, very satisfactory. I loved that whole scene in Q's flat. But one character I think that ended up working out really, really well and made No Time to Die such a satisfying movie was M, the character of M. And M, of course, got introduced, this iteration of M, Ralph Fiennes, got introduced in Skyfall. And he got introduced as an antagonistic character. You know, he was butting heads with Judi Dench's M. And he was, you know, bristling like a bulldog in front of James Bond. And he was not coming across as a sympathetic character, even though at the very end I thought it was kind of satisfactory the way M took over and said to James Bond, "You're ready to get back to work." It's like he was an antagonistic character, but you kind of respected him. In Spectre, you know, it was kind of like, it was a more traditional M relationship. And you developed sort of more of that respect, but there was still this antagonism. The thing I really loved about No Time to Die is M actually had an emotional journey in part of that. James Bond left the Secret Service. M pursued Project Heracles, even though he knew James Bond had reservations about it. He knew himself. You could see that this is something he thought on an ethical and moral level was wrong. And then in No Time to Die, everything that he did in secret that he always had doubts about blew up in his face. And I thought Ralph Fiennes did a really, really phenomenal job by projecting, you know, that sense of guilt, that sense of anguish, that sense of responsibility. It was more acting than we've ever had from a character playing M, including Judi Dench. I mean, you really felt for it. It was the essence of good writing. It's where you have a character who you have a developed relationship with. We knew who M was. He was kind of antagonistic, but we respected him. And then you could see he did something that really, really, really troubled with his moral core. And it allowed Ralph Fiennes to give M some vulnerability as a character, which you've never seen in the series before. And that was the point, really, where he and James Bond, in those scenes together with Daniel Craig, kind of reached an understanding and a détente. And to me, it was very, very satisfying to see that. And it gave the impetus of what James Bond would then do and the ultimate sacrifice he made so much more importance, because obviously there were the personal things driving James Bond, trying to protect Mathilde, trying to protect Madeleine. But at the end of the day, it was a case of, you know, this is a terrible, terrible technology that should not be allowed out into the world. And James Bond knew it from a moral point of view, but also he knew it, you know, to finally fulfill his mission and do the service to the man he respected, which was M. He sacrificed everything. And I don't think James Bond's... I know lots of people don't like James Bond's death at the end of the movie, but I don't think it would have worked as well as it did if you didn't have M's vulnerability, M's doubt, M's sort of shame at what had happened being part of that story. So yeah, as far as that as a story arc through 3 films, I did not expect M to have a story arc, but he did, and I think it came across really, really well. And I don't know, I'm kind of interested to see whether they keep Ralph Fiennes as M in whatever form James Bond takes in the future, because it worked really well keeping M from the Pierce Brosnan days and moving her into the Daniel Craig days. And I think there are certain elements that you obviously won't be able to keep in however James Bond appears in the next movies. Like, you can't have Felix Leiter because they killed him. You'd need to recast that. I love Q and Moneypenny, but maybe you have to recast them. But M, I think you could keep as that sort of thread of continuity. And now I know I'm a lot more invested in M as a character, just because of the fact we actually got to see him as a human being who makes mistakes, who feels emotion, and ultimately tries to do the right thing. And to me, that beautiful relationship between M and James Bond, which has been in the core of all the books and all the movies, and was so well done in Daniel Craig's period, particularly. This was, to me, though, like the peak moment of it. The peak moment where M and Bond, you know, met at the same level and respected each other. And it was one of the things I really enjoyed about No Time to Die. And yeah, Ralph Fiennes just did a phenomenal job. So there we go.